Dr. David Banner, physician, scientist, searching for a way to tap into the hidden strengths.
This is
that all
Latoya,
humans
the
have.
Destroyer
An accidental
Cantrell,
overdose of
when
gamma radiation
Lisa
alters
does
body
an
chemistry.
investigative report.
And now when David Banner
Y'all are stopping me, even though you're using my own cameras by my Pontalba apartment. You heard me, I said my Pontalba apartment. Don't make me mad, y'all. I'll go on a junket, fly first class, go to Europe for 24 hours, and spend 20 grand on the plane
Don't
ticket.
make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
All right. You mean Latoya, the Destroyer Cantrell, gets angrier? Like, she's not saying she's angry right now. There's another level. Yikes. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. It's a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. We can all exhale. We got a weekend coming up. You can sort of legitimately, I mean, for most of us, we work hard Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We actually earn our money. We're not some hack politician or some politically connected joker with some city contract. We actually work for our money. Most of us out there, we earn our money. So when the weekend does roll around, it's different for those jokers that get the free check. It's actually a weekend for us. We've earned it. Yeah, you right. I love a Friday. I told Tolly and Blue Boy walking out the door. I saw some question on Twitter or social. Do you talk to your pets? Do you tell them when you're leaving the house? Yeah, of course. Told them to be back in a little while. I was like, guys, it's Friday. That means extra time together. I don't have to focus on work as much. We can do that extra walk. Maybe take a ride in the car, go somewhere, run around, off leash. Maybe go by my brother's, see Jax, his dog. Big dog party. Anyway, it is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. We do get to exhale because there's some stuff going on in New Orleans. It's like New York, LA, Chicago. I mean, in one way, I'm blessed. It's like Rush Limbaugh when a Democrat wins the presidency. Topics take off, audience takes off, advertising dollars flowing in. No, it's living in New Orleans for me, a native talk radio, talk TV show host. Been doing it for years. An opinion guy. Used to do editorials for about 6-7 years on Channel 26. About 700-800 of those. New Orleans is just like a market 8, 10, 12 times the size. I mean, New Orleans proper is where most of it goes down. That's about 380,000 folks. There's about 900,000 more folks in the metro. And Jefferson Parish and the North Shore, I mean, Walter Reed, Jack Strain, I mean, come on. Just Jefferson Parish, I mean, Aaron Broussard. I mean, wow. You know, it keeps us going. Baton Rouge, Louisiana politics, Hilario, Edwin Edwards, Bill Jefferson. Geesh. It's mind-boggling, mind-blowing. Such low standards. No, we beat that drum Monday through Friday. You know, I look at it as a native New Orleanian, as a Louisiana native, obviously an LSU grad. I'm connected. It's DNA. Love the people. Love New Orleans. It's part of me. But sometimes I feel like the city and the people in the city and state. It's like your kid scoring a 36 on the ACT and a 1600 on the SAT, and he's getting like D's and F's on the report card. He's not applying himself. Doesn't show up for tests. You know, things like that. That's sometimes how I feel like, you know, New Orleans, Louisiana. Look at Macron, president of France. Did you see the other cities he was considering coming to on his visit to the United States? It was like San Francisco, Chicago. They came to New Orleans. That was the natural connection. No, because we're an international world-class city. And we almost do everything to mess it up, to foul it up. Cajun country, Louisiana, New Orleans, all this culture and greatness. It is so great. It's bigger and better than all of us. Its history, its roots, it's deeper, bigger than better than all of us around today. Thank God we can't wreck it and ruin it, but we certainly can, cause a lot of damage by being sort of lame and second rate and not being first class. So no, we'll always fight for that, because one day the tide will turn. One day we'll embrace a Buddy Roemer type as governor, and it'll be an honest, hardworking man or woman with a true plan that turns us around. And one day we'll embrace a real mayor and a real council with agendas that are for the people and the city and total selfless, civic-minded folks. I'm still optimistic, hopeful that will happen. I'll tell you what I'm not hopeful and optimistic about. I mean, the mayor, there's so many signs, I've talked about it, about the mayor selecting this next police chief on her own and not going with a national search. NOPD Chief Sean Ferguson to retire at the end of the month. That story breaks on Tuesday. The mayor's office releases a statement all about Ferguson. Nothing about, that last paragraph. Now we move our eyes forward towards the next chief. We'll do a nationwide search, whatever. Nothing about the next chief. All about Ferguson. That was a glaring sign. Avoid talking about the next chief. Next day, State of the City address. No questions. Media not allowed to ask any questions. Fausto Picardo, the New York City cop who's been brought in as a consultant, his contract extended another year to work with the new chief. If you're bringing in a badass chief that can do it himself or herself, they don't want a Picardo around for a year. Hey, it's my game plan. You want to help with some transition stuff, consent decree? Great. Here's what you found out. Give me your recommendations from what you've done the last 6 months and what the dysfunction is in your opinion. Great. Go talk to Ronald Surpass. Talk to a bunch of folks. But if you're bringing in a hot shot, they don't want another hot shot right there. You're bringing in someone that's green that needs to kind of learn on the job, like a Susan Hudson. Yeah, Susan Hudson could use someone like maybe Marlon Gussman to help her figure it all out. He would never do it. I'm saying someone with experience that's done it before. 18 years experience, Fausto Picardo. You want to help, I don't know, maybe someone like Jeanette Williams might need a Fausto Picardo to get it all going before she finds her groove in a year or so. That's what most folks, media outlets locally are reporting. Jeanette Williams to be the next chief. That's what the mayor would like to do, just anoint her. Avoid this January 1st ordinance going into effect where the city council has approval powers. They clearly want a nationwide search. The mayor has reached out to the council. Recommendations for the superintendent of the New Orleans Police Department. Like asking for a specific name, not how do we handle this? As you all are aware, Superintendent Sean Ferguson will be retiring later this month. Talks about the 24 years he served, all that stuff. As we move forward, we have an opportunity to engage in a dialogue about the next superintendent. As such, please allow this letter to serve as an invitation to meet with each of you to discuss your ideas and suggestions around who could replace Chief Ferguson. This is an opportunity to express your recommendations. Please submit suggestions and or ideas by December 16th. Additionally, I'm available to meet prior to the final walk for Chief Ferguson on December 22nd. Thank you, LaToya, the Destroyer Cantrell. Frank Smith, Superintendent, Des Moines, Iowa. Is that what she's looking for? You really need to look at Frank Smith, Superintendent, Chief of Police, Des Moines, Iowa. National search, period, end of story. His or her name is Mrs. National Search, Officer National Search, Superintendent National Search, Police Chief Best and Brightest. Wow, scary. Hey, Lebanon's Cafe's open right now. Outdoor dining in this weather. Shish kebab, lamb chops, all your favorite Middle Eastern sides. Lebanon's Cafe right now.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spots. NolaAC.com, your cool spots.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I know we got one of the Mackel twins joining us on the program. Really doesn't matter which one. It's all the same thing, I'm pretty sure. Who is this? Hello?
I said this would be Fletcher Mackel.
Oh, Fletch, not Travers.
Correct.
So we're going to talk fun, entertaining stuff like sports, not serious stuff like breaking news and investigative reporting.
Correct.
All right. Just making sure. What's up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Corey. What's happening?
Yeah, Fridays with Travers doesn't rhyme.
No, but you pick 2 days, you make it rhyme. I get one. You pick Tuesday or Thursday with him, you're good.
I guess Thursday sort of rhymes. More Tuesday. You know, sounds not really Travers, but Tuesdays with Travers might work. Travers Tuesday. May have to do that. Now, how do I get Cassie Sherm? There's no day for Cassie. She's got some breaking stuff. This mayor's letter. She's relentless. Between her and your bro, lots of great investigative and breaking news from those guys.
I would agree with you. Yes. You know, I mean, like your lifetime here, you know, from a news perspective, our city is the gift that gives. From a living perspective, like you, I've lived here my whole life. It doesn't always make for great, you know, living, but from a news perspective, New Orleans is a gift.
Yeah, you're so right. It's like a major market, news, story-wise, politics. It's like a market 5-10 times its size. We blow way past the kind of Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, Denver type cities. We're kind of challenging the Chicago, New York, LAs with crazy news stories. It's insane, Fletch.
It is. You're 100% dead on. I mean, you're right. From a news sports event perspective, I always tell people this, that New Orleans outkicks its coverage for market size, and definitely is a top 10 city. That's not always good, but yeah, far more than places like, you know, Denver, Orlando, Milwaukee, Phoenix, you know, places like that. 110% San Diego.
We're visiting with Fletcher Mackel. Fridays with Fletch. You ready to jump into it?
Sure.
Hey, Dennis Allen's not going anywhere, right?
So let me say this. If you'd have asked me that question 1 week ago, I would have said absolutely positively no chance Dennis Allen is going anywhere. And look, if the Saints would have won on Monday night, the final 4 games would have been an absolute dogfight down to the finish between Tampa, New Orleans, and Atlanta for one of these teams to win a bad division. The way they lost and the fact that they are basically done with a month to play, I still think Dennis Allen is safe, but I don't think it's 100%. A week ago, I would have told you 99% he's safe. I still think 75 to 80% he's safe. But if hypothetically this team completely quit on him down the stretch and they closed against some bad teams like Atlanta, Cleveland, and Carolina with a 1-3 record, and they go 5-12 with that loss against Tampa, I think it becomes a bigger conversation. So to answer your question, yes, I think he's safe, but I don't think he's as safe as he was a week ago. And I do think this next month is going to be important for him.
Yeah, I think there's so many injuries, Fletcher. Like, I don't recall any Saints team ever. And last year had lots of injuries. I'm not denying that. but I've never seen injuries like this. Both wideouts, both cornerbacks, 3 of your 5 offensive linemen, your starting quarterback that you plan to start through camp, all that. I've never seen anything like this. And I'm missing a few injured players.
Well, I mean, I would say this. I mean, last year was far more significant than this.
I totally disagree with that. How was last year more significant injury-wise than this year?
Well, I mean, just based on the facts. I mean, last year the Saints played the most number of starters in the NFL.
Right, but what key significant players were lost that were more significant than this year? Both corners, both wideouts, 3 of 5 linemen, and your starting quarterback. How was last year more because so many more players started?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, the numbers, the sheer numbers, the Saints aren't even in the top 10 in games lost to injury this year by starters. So last year they were number 1. So right there, last year they played 4 quarterbacks. I mean, Trevor Siemian started 4 games last year for him. Ian Book started a game for him last year. So I look at it and say, again, I agree, injuries this year have been a factor.
Too much to overcome.
But last year they dealt with more injuries just from a sheer numbers perspective. The facts say it.
Maybe so, but 2 wideouts, 2 corners, 3 of 5 linemen. It's more significant. It's more significant than losing some mediocre, middle of the team player that happens to start.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing.
The point is this: forget about this little argument. I think too many injuries last year, this year, whatever, for Dennis Allen to be fired for coaching for cause.
So let me say this. Okay, so thank you. Yes, we'll pivot off the number of injuries.
Yeah,
injuries have been a factor this year. But here's the thing. They still won 9 games last year and came down to the final game of the season to get into the playoffs, and they went 9-8. My argument is it's a similar type season this year for them. They may go 5-12. 5-12 versus 9-8 is a massive difference in the NFL. 4 games is a big swing. So to me, if Dennis got this team, that's why I say these final games are important. If they're 7-10, I think that's probably absolutely positively, no doubt. They didn't have a real quarterback. They dealt with injuries. Some of the different factors, you can look at it and say it wasn't all coaching. Dennis shouldn't be scapegoated for this. But 5-12, if they lay down, so to say, last year they dealt with a ton of craziness and they fought until the bitter end and almost made it into the playoffs. If they know now that it's a tough road, they're going to need a minor miracle to get into the playoffs. If they show up after the bye and you see a team that is checked out, that clearly doesn't respond to the coach or care, that's where I think it becomes a discussion of how do you go forward. And this is where I would add on to that. Dennis Allen was kept, and the school of thought was sound. Look, hindsight is always 20/20.
Yep.
But last year, one of the big reasons why Dennis Allen was elevated to head coach was because the Saints from 2017 through 2021 had won the second most games in the NFL over that 5-year time period or 5-season time period. The Saints had been to the playoffs 4 of those 5 years and almost got in last year. It was, we built something good. We're good. We've got veteran players here. DeMario, Kamara, Cam, Ramczyk. We've got the guys to go right now. Let's not blow it up. Let's continue with what we've got here. Well, here's the thing. That school of thought, if you go 5-12, is not, you miscalculated what you had.
It's not a continuation of the greatness.
So therefore, if you fall that far, the continuation theory, it did not work. So if the theory was, let's continue what we've built, if you fall that far off a cliff, well, then maybe you have the conversation of maybe it's time to just reset and go into a massive overhaul with a new coach and new players and trade some of the guys we have to recoup assets and just kind of restructure and reset. But again, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. They've got a lot of major moves to decide. Is Dennis the guy? Who's playing quarterback? Who's part of our future and who's who are we moving on from? It's going to be a really interesting offseason that could shape this team for years to come.
No, and let's not kid ourselves. You know, Mickey Loomis is an interesting character, to say the least. I think most folks, especially when you go back 20 years ago, he was Randy Mueller's cap guy, a contract guy, someone that Mueller kind of trained to handle those responsibilities. You know, Loomis worked for Randy Mueller. He was like a Rick Mueller type. And he ascended because of loyalty up to the general manager's job. Mickey Loomis, Roddy Rosenfield, or those two attorney advisors to Benson, Tom Benson, Lauscha. It's probably about 4 or 5, maybe throwing Greg Bensel, maybe a half dozen folks contributing to the Sean Payton selection. This wasn't Mickey Loomis's choice, and the organization just went with that. So Loomis is sort of a wild card a little bit, Fletch, they've been riding on the Sean Payton coattails, and he's been riding on the Drew Brees coattails. How real is Loomis? Does he stay around? Is he capable of picking the next head coach? Because he didn't pick Payton. It was by committee, a lot of folks.
I would disagree with that. I think it was mostly Loomis that picked Payton. And I've been told that, and Payton told us that, point blank. And Mr. Benson, before he passed away, said
how would Sean Payton know who picked him? But anyway, that's irrelevant.
When you're here for 15 years and people, build relationships, they tell you how processes unfolded over time, especially when they feel more.
I mean, Roddy, Rosenfield both sort of faded out of the picture. I disagree.
No, let me say this. I mean, here's the thing.
Hang on. Hold your thoughts. I'm going to knock out a quick 10-second break. I want to get everything you're thinking and just Loomis, kind of a wild card. We'll talk about that next. Don't move, New Orleans.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Tommy's Lock and Alarms is now hiring service and installation technicians. Great benefits, great pay, take-home vehicle. Apply today. Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Air conditioning or heat help? River City's Total Maintenance. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. Find them online at nolaac.com. nolaac.com. Fletcher Mackel is with us from Channel 6 Sports. Take it away, Fletch, on the Loomis question.
So I do think it's well documented. Not well documented, but documented. And I do think this is pretty funny. And I've actually had conversations with Sean Payton about this, is that Mr. Benson was leaning more towards Mike Sherman, who was the former Packers head coach, who had coached Brett Favre and taken them to an NFC championship game, that he was the experienced coach that was in the running in 2006.
That makes sense from Benson.
Right.
That makes sense.
He was a native Texan. Benson, had an affinity, had businesses in Texas. I just think there was a connection there. And Benson admitted as much, before his passing in 2018, that he leaned. Now, again, there's a lot of people that go into those, a lot of people that have opinions on those decisions. But just taking people back, Mickey Loomis survived after Katrina and they parted ways with Jim Haslett. They gave Mickey the opportunity to pick his coach because, as you said, he came here with Randy Mueller. He was the capologist, and then he was elevated to general manager. And he inherited Jim Haslett. And while they, I think, had an okay relationship, they were never in perfect alignment. So Mickey got to pick the coach, and Mickey picked Sean. And the funny thing is if you go back, and I went back to the press conference when Sean was hired, and Mr. Benson clearly says, Mickey has promised us this is the guy to take us to new heights. He basically laid it on Mickey.
Yeah, so, Fletch, I hear you. If you want to buy into all that, window treatment, what's Benson going to say? I mean, Benson got rid of very popular Randy Mueller because Mueller went to Atlanta for a visit. That's it. And he he wanted Mueller. He gave Mueller a contract extension that wasn't significant. And Mueller said, I'm not signing that. And literally at that moment, Benson said, great, you're gone. And then he bumped Loomis up. So he's not going to dog Loomis. He's going to say, Loomis is my guy. Loomis made the choice. It's all on Loomis. I think that's all window dressing 110%. I think it's Benson making the choice. Loomis may have suggested Peyton, Roddy, Rosenfeld, Lauscha, all of them having input.
let me say this.
No one said. No one told Mickey Loomis, "You're making the choice. Do your thing," and they backed away. No way, no how, impossible.
And that's not the picture I'm painting. Like when you're the owner of the team, you are the ultimate decider, so to say. And yes, Benson, the people you're naming were some of his top people, and some of them still are, like Dennis Lauscha. But I do think at the end of the day, again, Benson acknowledged that he leaned Mike Sherman. But Mickey convinced him Sean was the up-and-coming young guy. Bill Parcells loved him. A lot of these coaches loved him. He was their guy, and he was Mickey's guy more than he was Tom's guy.
I would agree with that. And again, we're probably like the previous thing, arguing more injuries last year, this year. You and I love getting into the minutia, but is Loomis the guy to pick the next coach? Because he's very, you know what I like about Mickey? He doesn't sit there and go, "Hey, Fletch, I like this corner better than that one. Don't you love how so-and-so's a shutdown safety with Pittsburgh?" I've done some shows with Mickey Loomis. He knows he's not the player personnel guy. He's not an old school Jim Finks. I'm going to draft. I'm going to go after free agents. I'm running the whole organization. I mean, I think the buck stopped with Sean Payton. Mickey Loomis saw that Payton was good and kind of backed away and let him be the general manager, basically. I think, is that fair? Is that accurate? Loomis was always humble and not like, Jim Finks was the buck stopped with him. You knew it. The buck stopped with Sean Payton with this Saints team the last 15 years, not Mickey Loomis.
Again, look, we may not agree on everything here. I think that Mickey Loomis is the general manager, and we can spin it into a positive or a negative. I think one of his great strengths is the fact that he doesn't meddle and he lets people do their job.
I agree.
You're right.
I agree.
He wasn't a football player. He played basketball in college. He came up as a numbers expert, a guy that handled contracts and salary cap, and that was his area of expertise.
Yep.
So the fact that he didn't play college or professional football,
it doesn't matter.
He had people like Rick Riperish and Ryan Pace and now Jeff Ireland as top lieutenants because they played football. Terry Fontenot was a college football player. So, and then as far as the coaching staff, he's not down there telling Sean, put this guy out there.
Exactly.
He lets the coaches coach.
That's
so
right.
I think one of his greatest strengths is he hires people and he trusts them. But that doesn't mean that he's not in charge. Look, Sean Payton had a lot of power in that organization. We know it. But I don't think if it ever came down to a hands-down power struggle, who would win? You're right. Sean Payton probably would win out over Mickey Loomis. But I don't know if it ever came to that.
No, I think Loomis would probably say, "Sean, you take it." Because of all we're saying. Ultimately, I guess, Coach, we'll go with your gut, and Loomis would probably back down because he's not going to sit there and go, "I know as much about football, X's and O's and players as Sean Payton does." No, I think you're right on all that. I don't think they even ever had that happen.
But getting back, so here's the thing. So I do think, though, just having been around it, I do think Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton was Mickey Loomis's guy. Now, yes, the owner and the top people signed off on it, but it was Mickey's recommendation that Sean be the guy. They all signed off on it. They're the leadership.
I think that's fair enough. Can he make the next pick again? And there's not as many folks. It's more going to be like Lauscha. Gail Benson's not going to have any input. Really?
Look,
she'll just say yes or no.
They did make the next pick. They picked Dennis. They picked Dennis Allen to be the guy. And now here's the thing. If they have to move on from Dennis, can they reset and pick the next great football mind? Can they pick a guy like Mike McDaniel who's having success early? Can they identify a Kyle Shanahan? Can they identify the next Sean McVay? They identified, be it like whatever people want to say. People can say, "Oh, they got lucky with Peyton." Well, you know what? Every organization that gets a star quarterback or a great coach, is it lucky or were they good? And so again, you can spin it however you want. If Dennis goes, can they do it again? I don't know. Look, they did it once with Sean. If Dennis is a miss, well, then they're 1 for 1.
Hopefully this doesn't have to happen. Hopefully Dennis Allen rips off like 3 of the next 4, maybe 4 straight. They gain some momentum. They fix whatever they need to fix, and they're competitive again next year. Because
and here's the thing,
it's getting close. But they're long in the tooth, but it isn't time to cut bait and move on necessarily. They can still build with what they've got.
And here's the thing, and I would agree with you. That's why I think history has told me from covering this team for a long time that they don't do knee jerk. I mean, they could have gotten rid of Jim Haslett after the 2003 and the 2004 seasons when they missed the playoffs, razor thin margins, and he was on the hot seat, so to say. I mean, they have kept players here. If anything, this leadership and this hierarchy has been, I don't want to say loyal to a fault, but you could have made the argument that Sean Payton should have gone after 3 straight losing seasons.
No, and Mike Ditka, 6 win, 3 win. It's like, how far does the bottom have to drop? They kept Ditka 3 years, Benson.
Right. So so I think they want Dennis to have success.
Yeah.
I think they picked Dennis. I think Dennis is 80% safe. But I do think that if they go 5-12, that's a massive fall off from last year. And again, you kept Dennis because of the whole thing we talked about earlier, continuity and continuing the momentum we had. I think Dennis is safe, but I do think, and I said this at the beginning of the year, that I thought obviously I was one of the people like so many that thought they were going to be better. I said the only way Dennis would be a one and done coach is if they went something ridiculous like 4-13 or 5-12. That's why I say like a 5-12 could potentially say we made a massive miscalculation and we're moving on. But I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to win 3 or 4. They're going to beat the Falcons.
I think so too.
Cleveland. They're going to beat Carolina. They got 3 weak teams, and they'll lose at Philly because the Eagles will be playing.
Or maybe they'll upset Philly because the Eagles may not be playing for anything. Who knows at that time? So, Fletch, I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is I kind of like Dennis Allen as a coach. And I mean, I'm glad I don't do sports talk full time because I kind of just base it on kind of a gut feeling coupled with all of these injuries. I mean, you can look at a coach or a player and you can kind of be like, is this guy a winner or a loser? And I don't think Dennis Allen's a loser. And I don't care about the Oakland record. That was an unwinnable situation. This is his first head coaching gig.
And let me follow up real quick to say this. I'm out there 3 times a week and after every game. And I can tell you that he has not lost the locker room. Like, this team is still in on Dennis Allen, that those players are asked, and we point blank ask them. And you can get a feel when somebody's lying, speaking just to say it, but they mean it. Like, these guys still respect and are in on Dennis. And that to me is a big factor in one of the reasons why he should stay, will probably remain and get another chance.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, 20 seconds. Alvin Kamara, everything's cool with him physically, mentally?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I just think that it's, the offense doesn't function as well right now without Peyton and Breeze. But I think he's okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that one offensive lineman, I've never even heard of that name in my life. Like, I've never seen that proper name in my life.
Yeah, look, they played. Look, and again,
who's the guy I'm talking about? I can't even remember his name. Brock Wharton or whatever his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Fletch, hang on a second. I want to talk a little Green Wave USC.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. For the cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockанdalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
I was checking out a little Twitter during the break, and Joe Cardosi, who does a lot of Pelican stuff. Hard to think of anyone more fun to talk Pelicans basketball and NOLA vibes with than Fletcher Mackel. Check out the pod. And I replied, I have Fletcher on my program right now, this very moment. It's nothing but a total disaster. I heard Channel 6 is getting rid of him and he's going over to MeTV. Big rumor, I heard. I mean it. It's true. Maybe, sort of, doubtful. Saying. Oh, boy. I got to agree. I got to agree with Joe Fletch.
We did have a good time today on that podcast. It was good.
No, I love getting you on the program. Seriously. I know we disagree a lot, but I'd say if someone said, do y'all disagree or not, I'd say we disagree on some stuff, and you might think we disagree on most things. I'd say 90% of the stuff we agree on. But yeah, I'm going to check out that podcast, and I guess I may have to re-reply. Just joking. I love Fletch because inflection and that kind of stuff doesn't work well on Twitter, does it, Fletch? Like inflection or kind of exaggeration or embellishment type comments.
There needs to be, like I always say, I wish Twitter had a font, like
sarcasm font,
humor font, like because a lot of things are lost in translation when you read it instead of hearing it, seeing it. It's definitely a little different.
No, I think I talked to you this off air. A local television reporter, anchor type, just said something about, like, our friend had a kid, and she said something like, love to have a baby. And I replied, I can help you on that. Like just a joke. And that it didn't go over like that. It went over like, I'm the creep, like that kind of. I was like, oh boy, I need Fletcher's emoji, the sarcasm emoji. Anyway,
sarcasm emoji.
Yep. Wow. Hey, don't you love that? First off, Tulane 16th ranked. They're 11-2. It's just a gaudy record. They're going to a major bowl game, the Cotton Bowl, and they're playing 10th ranked USC. How does it get any better than that?
It doesn't. I mean, and USC is going to have the Heisman Trophy winner. Caleb Williams is going to win the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night. So, I mean, this is the biggest sporting event in Tulane's program since 2005 when they went to the College World Series.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of the biggest to those College World Series games. It's as big as the Rose Bowl in 34.
Right. I think it's the biggest sporting event for Tulane in 17 years since the 2005 College World Series. And it's one of the biggest sporting events ever and probably the biggest football game in modern times since that 1939 season 40 Sugar Bowl. So it's a huge deal. I mean, look, you're getting a marquee venue, a marquee bowl game, a marquee matchup against the Heisman Trophy winner. And this year, you are a marquee team. I mean, look, Tulane went 11-2. They could be 13-0.
Yep.
I covered both their losses. They're better than Southern Miss and should have never stumbled against that bad
and
team.
They got revenge. They showed they're better than Florida, Central Florida.
Yeah, and then look, they lost the first time to Central Florida in a dogfight, and so they could be 13-0.
Yep.
And so they're really good, and they deserve this. And so it's a special year, and I was glad to see the fans rush the field. I mean, look, you're born and raised here. I mean, Tulane with a stadium sold out, rushing the field is not something that 20 years ago I would have thought. I would have thought you're talking about an alternate reality.
No. Tulane has a dilemma now. Like, we may have to put some staging by the wall so the students don't hurt themselves rushing the field and jumping down the 6 feet off that wall onto the field. Someone twisted their ankle. Fletch, you know what I love too? This is just my opinion. If USC ascended into the Cotton Bowl like Tulane did, beating Cincinnati, winning their conference championship, they earned the Cotton Bowl. If USC ascended to the Cotton Bowl, I think they'd be favored by like 6 maybe in this game. They're favored by 2. Tulane is fired up about the game. They're going to be focused, ready to go. They want to win it. USC is kind of bummed out. They're going to the Cotton Bowl, that they're playing Tulane. They're not looking forward to the game, I don't think, like Tulane is. That's my opinion.
No, I think you're right, because look, USC was 1 win away in their conference championship against Utah.
For being in the playoff.
To getting Georgia in the playoffs. So, yes, they were more pumped for the playoffs and they laid an egg against Utah. But this is the one thing I'll say about that. This is Lincoln Riley's first year. This is Caleb Williams' first, major bowl game, so to say. I think by the time the dust settles, they're going to wake up and say, if we come out, look, they lost the Pac-12 championship game. If they come out and get their butts kicked by Tulane in the Cotton Bowl, it's going to leave a really nasty taste in their mouths. I think right now, yes, they're upset. Right now, they're looking like, hey, we're in the consolation prize. But I think by the time we get to January 2nd, you're going to see 2 teams that are focused. One that wants to pop the big boy and finish one of the greatest seasons in program history in Tulane. And another one that feels like if they don't finish strong, this year is going to be a major letdown if they close with 2 losses after being on the cusp of a playoff berth.
No doubt. I think USC better have that focus because Tulane is a tough team. They have a very good defense, and they've got an offense that can run the ball and consume the clock, and a versatile quarterback that's not one-dimensional. So USC better be ready. Tulane's not some fluke that went 11-2. They're old school. They can run it, pound it, throw it, and they play great D.
Well, that's the big thing. I know we're running out of time. It's going to be, USC's offense has been electric, and they've put points up like crazy, and that's been their MO. And Tulane's defense has been their anchor. I get Ty Spears, and their offense has been good, but their defense has been stout. So to me, that's going to be what we talk about, the Tulane defense versus Caleb Williams and that Trojans offense. And that's going to see which unit breaks first.
Blue Boy's barking. He's saying, we're heading to the top of the hour. Fletch is right. We're out of time. He says, you didn't even get to talk LSU with Fletch. You didn't get to talk World Cup with Fletch or even Pelicans with Fletch. Blue Boy's right. Fletch, have a great weekend. That's what Blue Boy said, Fletch. Have a great weekend.
Sweet.
You're the man, Fletch. Thank you.
All right, Chris.
That's Fletcher Mackel, Channel 6. Corey Johnson with you. Don't move.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's founder, Paula Norris Medier.
Our Brain Restoration Plus Detox Treatment is an intravenous nutritional supplement that restores the brain's chemical imbalances. Our patients detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. It also blocks the craving, which is unbelievable and which is why most people say they have a hard time believing, but it restores neuron function. Many treatment programs use one drug to get you off of another drug. At Springfield, we treat the problem. Addiction is first a brain disease. If you or a loved one suffer from substance abuse, please just give us a call.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's called more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
The Woodhouse Day Spa. The premier day spa experience is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone.
He's a demon and you better look alive. He's busy revving up the powerful Mach 5. There are rumors out there Speed Racer may have been gay or at least bisexual. That's the rumor. That's the rumor. Racer X was hooking up with Trixie on the side. Speed found out, got really bummed out. Sparky plugs. You know, Speed and Sparky spending a lot of time together. Never seen Sparky with a woman on Speed Racer. Those are the rumors. Corey Johnson with you. Cartoon Talk on a Friday. Actually, we've changed the whole format. The radio station's now Cartoon Radio. We don't play any cartoons, not even any cuts from any cartoons. We just discuss cartoons. Not really. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday, 5 o'clock power hour. Yeah, you right. Thank goodness it's Friday because it's hard to keep up with all this news and stuff. I don't mean the work part of it. I don't mind the work part of it. I'm talking about the wear you out part out of it. Like, oh gosh, the mayor's doing what? City's doing what? Cars got broken into where? What? Beat you up after a while. It's tiring. Fantasy Friday, a bailout for me. I get Fletcher Mackel on. We get to talk, luxury items, entertainment like sports, Saints, LSU, Tulane, Pels. Yeah, you right. Coming up in a few minutes, Frank Mackel. That's Fletcher's dad. I wish Frank was still around. We could talk some golf. Frank Brigtsen is going to join us from his restaurant in the Riverbend area of New Orleans. James Beard award-winning chef. Brigtsen's one of the best restaurants in the city for over 35 years, a classic. He'll join us to talk some food. So yeah, sports and food and Fantasy Friday and 5 o'clock powwow. We love this very moment of the week, a little after 5 p.m. on a Friday, because for most folks, it means the work week is done, in the books, history. And for most folks, it means the weekend is just beginning. The entire weekend is smack dab in front of you. We like acknowledging this very moment, putting the spotlight on it, smelling the roses. And that's why we blow the 5 o'clock whistle. That's right. Get out of the plant. Get out of the facility. You got the weekend in front of you. You got the hard hat under one arm, the lunch pail under the other. They're blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. The 5 o'clock whistle appropriately brought to you by Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Yeah, appropriately brought to you by those guys. Go get a cold one.
and the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on that beer. Buy the can or bottle, buy the 6-pack, buy the case, buy the pallet full. Cases of beer, all kind of different local domestic imports available. Incredible selection, and all for the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law. Alcohol, your thing? They've got everything you drink. Wine's your thing? A ridiculously extensive wine selection. The Fluke. They don't have the beer, wine, or alcohol that you prefer. They're going to get it, any quantity you want, and at the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law, period, end of story. You folks in New Orleans, Metairie, North Shore, wherever you are in the metro area, if you throw parties a lot, you do a lot of tailgating, you're constantly restocking the bar, you like drinking high-end whiskey, you like drinking expensive wine, get all of it for less. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law, the lowest prices available, the lowest prices possible. On wine, alcohol, and cold beer. There's only one place. It's not a special. It's not on select items. It's on everything all the time. It's Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Super Discount Store!
That's right, Super D, appropriately sponsoring that 5 o'clock whistle. Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. So much to cover. Glad Frank Brigtsen's going to join us in a few minutes to talk food. We're breaking down the turducken. No, we're not. Fletcher Mackel joined us last hour on the program. You can always check us out, 93.9 FM, weekday afternoon starting at 4. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM. We're on TV 4 to 5:30. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour radio program on TV all over Louisiana. If you subscribe to Cox Television, we're on Your View Louisiana, Cox Channel 4. If you are a Charter television subscriber, we're on Spectrum Channel 333. Live streaming at CoreyTalks.com, our website, online, CoreyTalks.com. You know, we're on YouTube now the last few months. Check out our YouTube channel. We're fledgling on YouTube. We need your help. Let's grow it. Click to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Send the link to a friend. YouTube channel, Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground. Yeah, you right. Now, I mentioned earlier in the week, LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell, NOPD Chief Sean Ferguson retiring at the end of the month. That was on Tuesday. The mayor issues a statement all about Ferguson. That last paragraph you think would have been, now we turn our focus to finding the next chief. None of that. Just about Ferguson, like the opposite, avoiding the next chief topic. That was sort of glaring to me. The very next day, State of the City address, no mention at all, and no questions from the media, no questions allowed. And then Fausto Picardo signed to a 1-year extension. He's the deputy New York City chief cop, retired, was the deputy superintendent of New York City. He was brought in September, a 6-month contract, along with that Linder Group, consulting how to fix the NOPD's woes, the New Orleans violent crime problem woes. His contract extended a year to work with the new chief. Man, if you're going to get the Sean Payton type, you know, you're going to get the Nick Saban, Brian Kelly. They don't want some sort of equal to them telling them how to do it mentally. They know what to do. They're going to put their program into play. So Fausto Picardo, 1-year extension. Then all these rumors, Jeanette Williams, Travers Mackel trying to interview her ignoring Fletcher. He's calling her Jeanette to say, hey, Jeanette, how you doing? Like, they know each other, and she's ignoring him. That was sort of interesting and telling. And then the latest and greatest to add to all of that, the mayor has a letter that she sent to the city council. It's kind of crazy. If this is like an effort to seek input from the council. It's crazy. Listen to this. Recommendation for the superintendent of the New Orleans Police Department. The recommendation is national search, best and brightest. Dear City Council members, as you all are aware, Superintendent Sean Ferguson will be retiring later this month, blah, 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 24 years, distinction, honor, integrity, blah, blah. As we move forward, we have an opportunity to engage in a dialogue about the next superintendent. As such, please allow this letter to serve as an invitation to meet with each of you to discuss your ideas and suggestions around who could replace Chief Ferguson. Who? Like specifically. This is an opportunity to express your recommendation. Please submit suggestions and or ideas by December 16th. Like it's due in 10 days or a week and a half or whatever. Why the timeline? Additionally, I'm available to meet prior to the final walk for Chief Ferguson on December 22nd. Why these dates and timelines? January 1st, that ordinance goes into effect where the city council approves any department head appointee by the mayor. The mayor reportedly trying to slip in Jonette Williams as chief. She'd be the first female chief, black female chief, even more of firsts. An opportunity for you to engage about the next superintendent. Invitation to meet. Suggestions around who could replace Chief Ferguson. What is she looking for? Hey, this is Helena Moreno, Mayor. Fred McGill, the Des Moines, Iowa chief, he's a real go-getter. Look at him.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro. For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one These coveted positions, go online to Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
I had to reply to this lady's tweet. I'm in Southwest Louisiana for work and stopped at a Walgreens. Came back out and just spent 5 minutes semi-freaking out that my car wouldn't unlock. Relief and humiliation came when a woman came out asking what I was doing to her car. Same color model car I was parked 2 spots over. That's a pretty interesting one. I've got a real story that I replied back. 30 years ago, came out of the Boot Bar on Broadway with my buddy. Unlocked his black Volkswagen Jetta, got in, started it up. Then he realized it wasn't his car. The key opened the door and started the car. It was a black four-door Jetta just like his, about 3 spots down from where we parked. But the key opened the door. I got in the other side. We both sat in the car. He started it and realized, holy smokes, this is not my car. True story. Where else do you get that but on the Corey Johnson program? Oh, boy. Hey, it is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. You are on the neutral ground. It's a little bit after 5:20. You know what that means? I love it. We head to the Riverbend section of New Orleans, Carrollton section of Uptown, about a block and a half away from where Carrollton and St. Charles Avenue intersect, right on the river, half block off River Road, Leak Avenue, Dante Street. I'm getting tired now. I'm getting specifics. I'm going with specifics. Frank Brigtsen joins us from his world-renowned restaurant. What up, Frankie?
Happy Friday, Corey.
What's going on in the Riverbend area?
We're getting ready for a bang-up weekend. The doors just opened, and we're going to roll tonight.
What do y'all go, 5:30 till? Sort of like a 8:30, 9 p.m. thing?
We're doing 5 o'clock to 8:30, Corey.
5 o'clock to 8:30, Tuesday through Saturday, right?
Correct. And so we'll get 2 seatings is what we do, early and midnight, mid-evening, I should say.
Hey, Frank, I guess I got to get better at social media and things of this nature and other options for television viewing and the like. But I did check out, I think it's Roku or something like that. Emeril has a show. And guess who was on that program?
Who?
Frank Brigtsen. That was
yeah,
great,
it was
man.
Great. Emeril's got a new TV series called Emeril Cooks, and it's on Roku television, which is a streaming platform, I think. And the first episode was a feature on our great local food writer, Ian McNulty, who writes for The Advocate, NOLA.com. Been doing it a long time. Brilliant journalist and a good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
And so they were kind enough to ask if they could film it here and see Ian in his habitat, as it were, dining out. And they came in the kitchen, and I did a few spots with him. It was really, really great. Both Emeril and Ian are good buddies, and it was a pleasure to be part of that first episode.
Oh, that was that first episode?
Yes.
Wow. That's awesome, Frank. Good for you. That says a lot. Great. I love just high quality television production. Just the outside of the restaurant shot was fantastic, huh?
It really was, and I thought it was so well edited and cut beautifully, and every scene was, really right on point. And I think they really captured the essence of how Ian approaches his work.
Yep.
He reviews restaurants, but it's so much more than that. He gets into the cultural aspects of our food here in New Orleans, and also the people aspect of it. Not just the food itself, but who's making it, who's producing it, where they come from, how they get to this point. And that's what I always find fascinating about his articles.
You're big on all that yourself. You go to New Orleans East, you go to the West Bank, seafood, vegetables. You love the local stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. Right now we're banging with Louisiana satsumas, which we have in our house salad. I love this time of year for that. It's my favorite salad that we do. Navel oranges are starting to kick in, so I've got some ideas for that. We're using them in our duck sauce right now, a duck à l'orange, classic preparation, and we're using Louisiana navel oranges for that.
Yeah, a lot of folks forget. I mean, Florida's done a great job of marketing citrus, but boy, Plaquemine, St. Bernard Parish, heading towards the mouth of the river, a lot of citrus down there.
Absolutely, and it's really part of our Christmas tradition growing up. My father always bought a case of Louisiana navel oranges, and in our kitchen we had a bay window, and they would just sit in that bay window and would just munch on them for a couple of weeks. And then one of his sisters, my Aunt May, lived in Florida, and she would send us for Christmas a case of Indian River oranges and Indian River grapefruit. Also really, really good citrus.
Nice.
So citrus to me means Christmas.
Yeah, we're fortunate in Louisiana, 2 growing seasons, right?
Absolutely. There's always something in season here. And when the citrus plays out in late December, you're going to start to see strawberries come in. They come in earlier every year. We've had a relatively warm winter so far, so that's got to be good for the strawberries.
Is the winter fruit and vegetables as good as kind of the spring or summertime ones?
Oh, I think so. Also, right now, if you look in your local markets, you may see some local cauliflowers. Some of the groceries go to the extra effort of carrying those products. You'll see white cauliflower, purple cauliflower, and cheddar cauliflower, which is yellow. So if you're an LSU fan, you get purple and yellow vegetables, purple and gold vegetables on your plate. Mardi Gras comes up, you get purple, gold, and green. That's always fun. But, the closer you get to your source, the better the food's going to taste.
Yep.
And the better it's going to be for you.
No, and
a fresh cauliflower picked yesterday is so much better than something that kind of came from the West Coast and has been in the market or in the cooler for 10 days or 2 weeks.
Frank Brigtsen's with us from his restaurant in the Riverbend. What you cooking tonight, Frank? Anything new? Anything that is seasonal that's sort of picking up momentum right now?
Well, I think, in our winter time here, people eat more meat here. We've been selling a lot of pork chops with the debris sauce, a lot of roast duck à l'orange, which comes with a praline stuffed sweet potato. And our veal dish this week has sold so well. I may run out tomorrow night, but it's sauteed veal, and it's served with sauteed oyster mushrooms, oysters, and a brie red peppercorn sauce. Very interesting, sort of unusual flavor ingredients. But, people say, what's that floral taste in there? I say, well, that's the pink peppercorns. Red peppercorns are not a true pepper. They're actually the bud from a certain kind of rose bush. And so they have a peppery quality, and they look like peppercorns, but they have a floral aspect to them. And I just love them, especially in the cream sauce. So that's something that's really, really been selling well.
Don't forget the filet.
Yeah, the filet. In fact, I just talked with a good friend of mine who's in town for the winter, and he's eaten with us, I think, 5 times in the last 2 weeks. And he was talking about what he's going to get. He said, I'm going to really go out off my trail tonight. I said, what do you mean? He said, I think I'm going to get the steak. I've never had it. I said, Neil, you've been eating here for 10 years and you've never had it. Get it.
Boy, that leads right into my question, Frank. You want to know why he's never had it? Because a lot of folks feel like the steak is you settle for that at a restaurant like Brigtsen's. Like, it's on the menu because you have to have it on the menu. And I'm like, the way you make that sauce, I mean, as a chef, do you look at it like, now, maybe someone from Kansas that comes in, you might prefer them get the speckled trout with the pecans. But some local that comes all the time, are they selling out, not getting the trout and getting the filet instead? I don't think so.
Well, that's right. It depends on who you are and where you're from, really. You know, my friend is from Kentucky, so
you want him to try the local dish that's local and flavor-filled that he can't get in Kentucky. Hey, you get a steak maybe in Kentucky, but I'm saying that steak with the sauce you make makes it special. I can see where you might want to get someone on a local seafood dish or something compared to the steak, but I guess my point is, your boy didn't order a steak for a decade because I think people take the mentality like the steak is this thing on the menu that has to be there because you have to have a steak for the picky eater or something like that. And the way you do it with that sauce, I totally disagree with that thinking that people have.
Oh, I think you're right, Corey. You know, I think our steak dish is just as good as the trout meuniere or anything else that we do. And the quality of the beef is really, really good. The steak by itself is really, really good. It's seasoned well, and we grill it on a flat top griddle, so you get a really hard sear on it.
Nice.
And, you know, it's a nice cut of beef. It's certified Angus beef, which is just below prime, but above choice. So it's always, always tender and good. And this tasso marchand du vin sauce is
outrageous.
The New Orleans take on a classic French sauce. You know, it has a little tasso in it rather than ham, and rich beef stock, red wine, mushroom, shallots, and then the whole thing is garnished with some thinly sliced fried shallot rings. It's a meal.
Yep, it is. It's fantastic. Frank Brigtsen's with us. Hey, Frank, before we let you go, how are folks ending the meal? Y'all usually have some kind of great dessert, and you change the desserts up pretty regularly. You keep the staples like the pecan pie, but something like creme brulee, you might go into different flavors and the like.
That's right. We always have our pecan pie, of course, with caramel sauce. We have lemon, icebox, blueberry, creme brulee, double chocolate cake, sweet potato bread pudding with praline sauce. And today, Chef Samantha made a chocolate toffee cheesecake. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, that slice of chocolate cake, it weighs 14 pounds, and it won't fit in the back of my car.
It's interesting. It looks like it weighs 14 pounds, but it's actually pretty light, but super, super rich.
Oh, it's so wet. It's like almost juicy. It's insane.
It is. It's moist. I had a couple from New York in the other night, and they called me out to the table just to compliment and rave about the chocolate cake. So that's how good it is.
Yep, it is that good. It's insane. We missing anything, Frank? Oh, yeah, we're missing stuff. I know you had Thanksgiving sides and soups and all that. Do you do any of that for Christmas?
Well, sometimes we do, but this year I think I'm going to pass and just give my staff a break, let them enjoy the holiday.
There you go. But still, to-go orders from the menu, right?
Anytime. Anything in the menu, anytime you want to, just give us a call. You can visit the website, brightsens.com, and look at both menus, and we'll make anything you want to go.
And any larger size portions to go? Can you get a quart of gumbo or something like that? Or do you need time ahead of time to do that?
No, if you want a quart of gumbo or butternut shrimp bisque, we're happy to do that. That's always on hand, and it's a nice thing to put in your fridge and have the next day.
Yep. Hey, any openings tonight or tomorrow night?
I think we have a crack or two for Two Top if you want to give Marner a call, 861-7610.
Yep. I'll throw that number out in the website in a sec. Frank, always a pleasure. What's that?
Thank you. If you call up, be sure and wish Marna a happy birthday. Today's her birthday and she's working. Oh, yeah, it's my birthday, too.
What do you mean it's your birthday, too?
We both have the same birthday.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yep, it's true.
Holy smokes. Happy birthday, Frank and Marna.
Thank you, Corey.
Wow. Happy birthday. Awesome, Frank. Thanks so much, man.
Always a pleasure. Have a great weekend, New Orleans. We love you.
Always a pleasure. Frank Brigtsen joining us from his restaurant. Happy birthday to Frank Brigtsen and his wife, Marna. Wow. And some openings. You heard a two-top or so over there at Brigtsen's. Maybe something for tomorrow night, too. 861-7610. Put that number in your phone, Brigtsen's Restaurant, 861-7610. You know it's a good gimmick. For you folks that have like a set restaurant, might be a neighborhood joint, a place you know that they're going to have a table for you, you're set, you're comfortable there, you can go there anytime, pop in, any moment, they're going to take care of you. If you're doing that tonight or tomorrow night, call Brigtsen's before you walk out the door and just inquire if there was a cancellation. They could be like, yes, we did have a cancellation. We have a table available in 15 minutes. And then you go to Brigtsen's instead of that place that you go to all the time that's going to take care of you, that, always a table available for you. I mean, that's a fallback. I got a friend who does a TV show. He'll line me up to come on the TV show. I said, dude, use me as your emergency guy. Go get all your other guests and, you want to have me on 4 times a year. I'll come on 4 times a year, just bailing you out when other guests, have something that causes them to miss the show or a car breakdown or whatever. So no, you've got your fallback restaurant. They're always there for you. Call Brigtsen's and see if someone canceled, I think maybe 1 out every 3 times you do that, you might slip in the door. 861-7610. 861-7610, Brigtsen's Restaurant in the Riverbend. Barbecue shrimp's pretty tough for me not to order there. Yeah, I'm friends with Mark DeFelice from Manali's, the inventors of barbecue shrimp. It's tough to beat Brigtsen's barbecue shrimp. Really is. And that pecan trout is really, really a special trout dish. And that filet we mentioned with that sauce is outrageous. And that airline chicken breast and that pork chop with the debris sauce. Brigtsen's just has a really great menu. And it's even priced right for what you're getting. The quality of the restaurant, the setting, the staff, the service, salads, desserts, soups, everything. They take it all seriously. No, that steak question I was mentioning. A lot of restaurants just have like a steak is got to have it. They don't put any effort into it. It's sort of just on the menu for the picky eater that will eat the steak kind of thing. Not at Brigtsen's. The steak is as special as anything else. Hey, it is a Friday edition of the program, 5 o'clock powwow. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning is a New Orleans institution since 1940. Walk-up locations with personal service. That's how I do it, the Claiborne location. They're also on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Most folks prefer their free pickup and delivery, home or office, East Bank or West Bank. And then there's Young's Express, the future of dry cleaning. They're manless locker locations located all over the metro area. Dozens and dozens and dozens of Young's Express locations. Those manless locker locations, probably one right where you live or work and you didn't even know. To find out more, youngsdrycleaning.com, youngsdrycleaning.com. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. When we come back, I've got that mayor's letter to the council about the police chief gig, and it is kind of like the mayor herself, this letter. Pathetically weak. Pathetically weak. The mayor thinks she's kind of covering her rear end with this letter, and it's missing the point. Totally missing the point. Like trying to include the council. Including the council is them voting on your pick. And if you want input from them to help you with the pick, that's fine. But you're asking for like a specific name. Freddie Smith, Des Moines, Iowa police chief. I think you need to look at his resume. That is utterly ridiculous. It's not the micro that you should be looking at right now. It's the macro, the bigger picture, as in national search, as in best practices, as in best and brightest, as in don't limit yourself to hiring from within the NOPD. And that also means take the best and brightest from the NOPD and look at their resume. Now, that's what stinks about Deputy Chief or Captain Jonette Williams. The mayor sort of ruined it for her, sort of wrecked it for her. She might be, capable of doing the job, but she needs to submit her resume with whoever else does from a nationwide search of the best and the brightest. Too much is at stake to play a New Orleans political appoint-anoint type of game. No, all roads are leading to the mayor doing this. Maybe she'll surprise us and do the right thing. It would be a surprise. I'm expecting an anointed chief. I sincerely hope I'm wrong. It is a Friday. Why aren't you at Katie's right now in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets? In between Bienville and Canal Street, in between Carrollton and Doc Francis Parkway. I mean, the heart of Mid-City. Iberville Corner, Talamacus, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. As Scott Craig says, more is better, more of the good things. Why aren't you at Katie's right now?
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top bench of more exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's Dr. Richard Medier.
For over 20 years, we've successfully treated patients with substance abuse issues and have also had success with patients suffering from chronic stress, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. We uniquely address restorative issues at the cellular level that impact mental health. We treat our patients with an intravenous nutritional supplement that helps restore various brain functions. Most of our patients have greatly reduced withdrawal symptoms. We work toward maximizing nutritional interventions while utilizing traditional medication interventions when needed. Our treatment works toward restoring the brain's health while returning the patient to a normal, dependent-free life.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
Gape Mouth Brown or Snooks Eaglin? Snooks? So good. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. The weekend is upon us. Are you on the Causeway Bridge right now? Are you beelining to the North Shore right now in your vehicle smiling? Corey's talking about me. I'm in mile marker 12. Firing a to-go order at Trey Yen. Mom, Dad, the kids, everyone's excited when you walk in the door and you bring in a big to-go order from Trey Yen. The phone number at Trey Yen, you know the area code 985 626-4476. 626-4476. Trey Yen in Mandeville, so good. Gourmet Chinese. That whole speckled trout or the whole flounder, it's local fresh flounder. It's local fresh speckled trout. The whole fish, both fillets. Head and tail intact, deboned though, and then flash fried to perfection. Now, that fish dish right there is a Grand Slam home run. Both fillets. You could roll that fish on like brown paper and there wouldn't be grease spots. It's flash fried. It's crispy. It's perfect. But the Wong boys are just getting started. Ladles and ladles of their signature Tong Cho sauce. Hot temperature-wise, hot spicy-wise, sweet, kind of sugary, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, both fillets, great for sharing. Fresh local speckled trout, fresh local flounder. That whole fish with the tong cho sauce, one of the best fish dishes you will eat anywhere. You can get that tonight at Trey Yen in Mandeville. So good. Trey Yen in Mandeville. All weekend long, too. I'm at Trey Yen. I live on the South Shore. I'm at Trey Yen once a week. I'm at Trey Yen 3 or 4 times a month, for sure. That means I'm at Trey Yen like 40, 50 times a year, literally. And I live on the South Shore. No, love me some Trey Yen. Been going there since I was a kid. Love going with my whole family, mom, dad, my brothers and sisters, my grandmother. We'd sit at the big round table with that lazy Susan thing, that little spinning thing in the middle. All the dishes, turn them around, grab what you want. So many different flavors, so many different choices, all so good. Trey Yen in Mandeville. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. The mayor, city of New Orleans, LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell. A letter to the New Orleans City Council. Is she coming around as far as best practices? The council, the city, the citizens have spoken. They want the council approving your appointees. Doesn't sound like it to me. It sounds like typical mayor BS. Hopefully I'm wrong. Recommendations for the superintendent of the New Orleans Police Department. Dear City Council members, as you are all aware, Superintendent Sean Ferguson will be retiring later this month. Chief Ferguson served the residents of New Orleans for 24 years with honor, distinction, and integrity. As we move forward, we have an opportunity to engage in a dialogue about the next superintendent. As such, please allow this letter to serve as an invitation to meet with each of you to discuss your ideas and suggestions around who could replace Chief Ferguson. This is an opportunity to express your recommendations. Please submit suggestions and or ideas by December 16th. Additionally, I'm available to meet prior to the final walk for Chief Ferguson on December 22nd. Why these deadlines? Like, I can meet only up till the 22nd. Submit your suggestions and or ideas by December 16th. Why? Why is that? December 16th, a week away, next Friday. So the mayor's giving the city council a week to come up with recommendations. And if you notice what she's saying, she's like a specific person. Frank Smith, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania police chief. You got to look at his resume. Freddie McGill, Jacksonville, Florida, superintendent. You got to look at it. She's looking for like that. This is total nonsense. This is like micro, minutia, when right now it's big picture. No, I have no idea who the candidates would be, who the selection would be, the choices. Have a week to figure that out? A search committee would take a few months to figure out best and brightest. You've got to let people know around the country. You don't even know who's available. This is like the Six Flags thing. Hey, it's available, y'all. Go see Bass Pro Shop. Go see amusement parks. Go see Disney World, Disneyland. Go see, water parks, Flying J Truck Stop, Buc-ee's. Go, get proactive. Go see them. Just don't say, hey, it's available, y'all. Otherwise, you'll get a local guy like Troy Henry or Drew Brees and Demario Davis putting in a bid instead of Buc-ee's. Hey, city council, y'all got a name for me? Harry Lee? No, he's dead. I mean, it's insane. It's not about suggesting a name. This is the mayor playing nonsense like I'm reaching out to the council. And then these deadlines. National search, best and brightest, best practices. Everyone's calling for this. Black, white, old, young. Michael Heck representing Greater New Orleans Inc., the New Orleans Coalition. Obviously, the council wants it. The voters, over 60% of New Orleans voters have said they want the council to approve the mayor's appointees. Rumor has it the mayor already has a chief in mind, becoming the first female chief. It's Jeanette Williams. A lot of things are pointing to the mayor making this, including this letter. 4 or 5 things that the mayor's going to pull a choice out of her rear end, probably Jeanette Williams, and circumvent what everyone's saying. Hey, let's do a national search, and the council approves the appointee that you select, Mayor. Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. You're looking for a Ford vehicle? Number 1 Ford dealership in the region is Lamarck Ford, for a reason. They do you right. Inventory, price, service. Number 1 Lincoln dealership in the region, Lamarck Lincoln, all located at the Lamarck Automotive Complex on the corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10 in Kennebra, right on the corner, right on the price. Hey, from the lake to the river, the Lamarck Automotive Complex by the lake in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford by the river in Elmwood on Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Harahan.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Come on down to New Orleans' own Bourbon Street, the toilet of the Crescent City. Literally. Need to urinate? Pee right on one of the historic buildings. Need to vomit? It's okay. Throw up right in the street. Bourbon Street. Prostitution, drugs, strip joints, daiquiri shops, and trinket stores. The toilet of the Crescent City. Come on down. It's Bourbon Street.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Boy, when the weather's like this, you can get a lot In Helm Paint and Decorating's got the paint, Benjamin Moore Paint, the inventors of color paint. I painted my house a few months ago. I got my crew, Benjamin Moore Paint from Helm Paint and Decorating, the Regal Select line of paint. That is a lifetime warranty. I'll literally never paint my house again. They really helped me out, too, over at the Earhart location. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Free 2-hour delivery anywhere in Metro New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm, Paint, and Decorating. That's a no-brainer, right, New Orleans? Where else would you go? Seriously, where else would you go? Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, Fletcher Mackel joined us. If you missed the 5 o'clock hour, Frank Brigtsen joined us. You can check all that out on YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, after the fact. What's that, Blue Boy? The weekend is upon us. You expect extra petting, extra treats, extra walks. Blue Boy, I am game for all of it, buddy. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for watching and listening. Have a great weekend. See you Monday, 4 p.m.